Good afternoon, class. This is Staff Sergeant Joshua Schara. I'm here to give my presentation on my personal belief of the importance of coaching in the Marine Corps. As you see behind me here in the top left, my personal belief is that coaching is an underappreciated leadership tool that has the ability to assist us as leaders in the Marine Corps to help our subordinate Marines within our organization as well as their personal lives. It allows us to create that stronger bond and to help strengthen their trust and confidence as us as their leaders. Below this, see the definition from the Marine Corps Leadership Development Order, which defines coaching as a process of ongoing observation and encouragement of a Marine's personal and professional growth. Now that we have an understanding of what the definition of coaching is, let's take a look in regards to coaching within the relationship of teaching and counseling, two other tools that we constantly utilize as Marine leaders. We look at teaching. Teaching is the baseline, the structure, the ground structure of what we do as leaders. It's the action of an individual such as ourselves with superior knowledge of a subject, educating individuals such as our subordinates with lesser to no knowledge of that subject on a continued basis. It's what we do on a constant day-to-day basis, taking that knowledge that we have gained from our experience and giving that to our subordinates. Now, looking at that in regards to how it relates to coaching, teaching directly supports our ability to coach our Marines. We as leaders must encourage our subordinates to take that knowledge that we have given them and taught them and put it into action, helping them find their full potential as Marines and future leaders themselves, hoping that they can take that knowledge and those traits that we've given them and then cycling that through to their subordinates someday. In this state of coaching, we must have the discipline to show patience and understanding with our Marines. We must utilize our leadership principles, such as know our Marines and look out for their welfare, and understand that every Marine is different. They learn in different ways, and we must identify those ways and exploit them to allow our Marines to succeed in their own ways. By that, I mean, it's not a one-size-fits-all deal in regards to teaching, coaching our Marines. We must take the time to learn about our Marines, how they operate within the Marine Corps, their needs outside of the Marine Corps in family situations, and we must understand how they learn. Not all Marines are going to be able to sit at a PowerPoint presentation and gain knowledge that way. They need to be hands-on, or they need to have you sit down and talk to them directly. We need to take the time as leaders to figure out how each of our Marines, whether it's a squad, a platoon, whatever size it is, we need to take the time to learn each of our individual Marines and tailor the way we lead to each individual so that we don't leave any of them behind. If we do a one-size-fits-all and I'm constantly doing a PowerPoint or a hands-on course, you're eventually going to lose somebody and leave them behind, and they'll never tap into their full potential. Looking ahead to counseling, which is the follow-on to coaching, counseling is our way of providing that feedback to our Marines on their performance in a given task that we have coached them through. We must ensure that we utilize these counselings properly, giving feedback in a professional way, whether positive or negative, not as a form of punishment, but to guide our Marines and also allow them to ask questions that they need to after our given guidance. By that I mean, once we have taught them and once we have coached them and allowed them to go out and find their own way and potentially make their own errors, we need to be able to sit down with them on a one-to-one basis and have a two-way avenue. It's not just us telling them something, we must also allow them the opportunity to talk to us as well, in case maybe they didn't grasp something, which could be on us from one of our leadership principles of not making the task or goal clear. These are our own learning points as well, so that we can recycle those later as we coach more of our Marines. But we must have that active listening when we go through our counselings. We must ensure that not only are we giving our feedback to our Marines, but we're also listening to their feedback as well for us as leaders, showing them that we do in fact care about how we're investing our time into them. Lastly, you see here the principles of coaching. We have be curious, listen, stay plugged into your operational environment, instruct, and give feedback. All of these as well tie into teaching, coaching, and counseling. be curious. All that means is just don't step on your Marines' toes. You know, you're not holding them, making them uncomfortable. Just get to know them, you know, be around them, learn about their needs, whether that's within the Marine Corps or outside of the Marine Corps. Listen, like I said previously, active listening. Show them that you care. You're not just talking to them, you also want to hear back from them. That'll show that you have that bond, that desire to learn about them, to care about them, and it is ultimately going to have them trust you more and want to gain more from you as their leader. Stay plugged into your operational environment. Goes hand in hand with the coaching portion as well. Just learning more about your Marines, being around them, not being a leader who fires and forgets, gives a task and then goes away and lets your Marines figure it out on their own. Be there. Let them know that you're invested in them and the task that you've given them. Instruct and give feedback. Also goes into the counseling portion. After we have given that assigned task, we've coached our Marines. Let them figure out their way, but also be involved as well. Don't step on their toes, and then be available for feedback as well. Let them know how they did. Give them that positive reinforcement or that structured criticism as well. Allow them to, you know, understand that if they did something wrong, they had, you know, there's ways to correct it and guide them to that full potential that they might need. And in saying so, that is why I believe coaching is absolutely important within the Marine Corps. As I stated, it gives that strength, that bond between us and our subordinates. Without coaching, all it is us giving out orders and then disappearing, and the Marines are eventually not going to trust us, or we're just not going to get that potential out of them as well, which is why it is so important for us as Marine leaders to coach and take the time to coach. If I don't have any questions, that is my presentation of coaching and the importance within the Marine Corps. Thank you.